Not every day is equal. Some days pass unnoticed, blending into the blur of ordinary time. But every so often, a day arrives that hums with a different frequency. A day that refuses to be just another square on the calendar. Tomorrow is such a day. The air itself carries it. The unseen patterns announce it. The veil between what is and what could be grows thin, and those who are awake can already feel the shift pressing in on them. This is not imagination. It is not coincidence. It is design. The universe does not whisper randomly. It speaks in codes, in numbers, in alignments too precise to ignore. And when those codes unlock, reality bends. Entire destinies turn on their hinges, and lives that seemed carved in stone suddenly reveal their script can be rewritten. This is what the mystics called a portal, not a fantasy doorway to some far-off realm, but a living threshold right here, written into time itself. And it does not open for everyone. It opens for the ones who are chosen to notice. The portal of 1818 is already here. It is active, alive, and demanding attention. Ignore it, and you risk slipping back into a story that was never truly yours. Step into it, and everything changes. The way you see, the way you choose, the way your life unfolds from this moment forward. The question is not whether the portal exists. The question is whether you will recognize it when it stands before you. For tomorrow, time will not simply mark another day. It will hold up a mirror, a code etched in numbers that reveals itself only to those who dare to look closer. And that is where the story begins. The Code of 1818. There are moments in history when time stops behaving like a silent backdrop and instead becomes a living message. The 18th of September, aligned with the sacred mirror of 1818, is one of those rare thresholds. This date is not simply a number on the calendar. It is a cipher, a spiritual pattern etched into the fabric of reality. Hidden within its structure is a call for awakening, an announcement that destiny itself is shifting. When you look closely, the code reveals itself. The day is the 18th. The month and year, 9 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 5, also resolve into 18. Two halves folding into one mirror standing face to face. This is no coincidence. In the ancient traditions of mysticism, mirrored numbers were seen as portals, moments when the invisible hand of the universe reached into human life and twisted the script. When reflection meets reflection, time is not just counted. It bends, it reshapes, it reorders the path beneath your feet. This doubling of 18 is like a cosmic key turning inside a hidden lock. Think of it as reality folding over itself, creating a gateway that only the attentive can recognize. To the ordinary eye, tomorrow may appear as any other day. But for those tuned to the frequency of the chosen, the 1818 alignment is not passive. It breathes, it pulses, and it insists. It whispers of contracts written long before you were born, of meetings arranged before you ever knew their meaning. Ignore it, and you remain asleep inside an old script. See it, and you awaken into the rewrite. The importance of this mirror cannot be overstated. Mystics across cultures spoke of days when numbers aligned in harmony, not as random chance, but as signs of destiny bending. Tomorrow, 1818 stands like a mirror held up to your soul, daring you to look directly into it. Some will look away, fearful of what reflection might reveal, but the chosen ones, those who were meant to live awake, will not only see the mirror, they will step into it, and once inside, nothing remains the same. The gate before the storm. The mirror of 1818 does not arrive to flatter you. It arrives to test you. As the numbers lock into place, the alignment opens what mystics once called a gate. the final doorway before the storm of eclipse season sweeps across our lives. If part 1 was the recognition of the mirror, then part 2 is about stepping through it and realizing the weight of the threshold you now stand upon. Imagine this moment as a cosmic checkpoint, a pause where the universe inspects the foundations you have been building. Everything in your inner world, the choices you've delayed, the conflicts you've buried, the habits that quietly drain you, is suddenly under review. And here lies the truth that most avoid. The universe does not punish. It amplifies. Whatever foundation you've laid, strong or unstable, becomes the ground upon which the coming eclipses will crash. This is why the 1818 gate matters so deeply. It's not a gentle comfort. It is a hinge, determining whether the weight of what comes next steadies you or breaks you. Do not expect long, drawn-out lessons. The tests of 1818 are swift, surgical, precise. In a single evening, a relationship might reveal where its true loyalty lies. A career path may suddenly expose its ceiling. An offer may arrive, and in the same breath reveal the gap between what you say you want and what you truly accept. These are not accidents. They are calibrations, reality showing you what cannot withstand pressure and what can endure. There is also a hidden timing to this gate. What has been dragging for months may now accelerate to its ending, almost overnight. Or something long delayed may suddenly surge forward, impossible to ignore any longer. For some, it will feel like the air shifts and a silent decision finally demands its answer. For others, it will uncover the very truth they have been avoiding. This is the last clear mirror before eclipse season distorts everything into a blur of emotion and upheaval. The gift here is subtle but sacred. You are given the chance to make the cut now, cleanly and with intention, or else that cut will make itself later under harsher skies. The 1818 portal does not spare you from change. It insists upon it. The only choice is whether you will wield the blade or have it wielded upon you. And in that decision, the path into the storm is set. Signs of passing the gate. Once you've crossed the threshold of 1818, the tests are not measured by the shifting of outer circumstances, but by the silence that begins to take root within. This is where most people falter, expecting the gate to shower them with blessings in the form of money, love, instant perfection. But the portal was never about outer prizes. Its purpose is to refine the inner field, to strip away the noise until your spirit can stand unshaken by the chaos around it. Passing through this gate feels less like fireworks and more like a deep exhale. The anxious hum that once dictated your decisions begins to fade. The compulsions to rush, to prove, to justify yourself soften, as if the constant alarms inside finally run out of batteries. Choices that once felt like lifting mountains now feel like turning the page of a single clear sheet. That is the unmistakable sign. You will know you have passed because your energy stops screaming. The transformation shows up in the body too. A jaw that has clenched for years begins to loosen. The chest feels less heavy, as though a hidden burden was quietly lifted. Attention that once scattered in 1,000 directions finds a place to rest. The world outside remains messy, unpredictable, even ruthless at times. But you are no longer dragged by every ripple in its tide. Instead, you move from a quiet center, anchored by a strength that does not depend on conditions. But do not mistake this clarity for comfort. Sometimes the silence reveals truths so sharp they demand action. A relationship may suddenly stand naked in its reality, leaving you with no option but to act. A career path may lose every ounce of pretense, showing itself as either aligned or completely false. The 1818 gate does not guarantee peace. It guarantees honesty. And once honesty is revealed, your life will require a response. That is the sacred demand of passing through. You can no longer pretend not to know. The chosen ones sense this first. Even before the storm peaks for others, they feel the weight begin to lift. For them, the portal works not by fixing life, but by stripping away the inner static that clouded perception. That is the true prize, not perfection, but presence. For when the storm fully arrives, only those who carry this inner stillness will be able to walk through it with grace, breaking the old script. Passing the gate changes the soundscape of your inner world. The noise that once ruled your thoughts is quieted, and in that silence, something extraordinary becomes clear. The script you have been living was never truly yours. For years, perhaps decades, you have followed lines written by habit, by society, by family, by fear, routines disguised as safety, patterns dressed as identity, choices repeated not because they were true, but because they were familiar. The 1818 portal interrupts that autopilot with a single strike. Imagine reading a sentence your entire life, only to suddenly notice that a single comma has vanished, and suddenly, the meaning of everything changes. That is the energy of this moment. A job you stayed in without joy may suddenly feel unbearable. A relationship you tolerated may suddenly reveal its hollowness. A belief you carried like armor may suddenly feel like a prison. This interruption is not random, it is divine editing. A red pen across the false lines of your life's manuscript. And this break is contagious. When one chosen soul steps out of their role, it sends tremors through the entire stage. A friend who always stayed quiet may suddenly speak the truth. A family pattern that seemed eternal begins to crumble. A workplace culture sustained by silent compliance feels its foundation crack. The portal does not only rewrite your life, it rewrites the shared script of every community it touches. And once the silence between the lines is heard, nothing can unhear it. This disruption is not meant to destroy for the sake of chaos. It is meant to expose what is false, so that truth can finally emerge. Some changes will be abrupt. A resignation, a breakup, a confrontation that clears decades of silence. Others will unfold softly, a gentle drifting away from what no longer resonates. Do not confuse quiet endings with insignificant ones. Even the most subtle unraveling is a sacred act of freedom. The chosen ones will feel the strangeness most keenly. They will notice themselves drifting away from roles that once defined them. Sensing a greater script being offered, they will hear the silence between the lines and recognize it as invitation. The portal has broken the old pages. What remains now is the pen, resting in your hand, waiting to see if you will write the next chapter with intention, or if you will leave the story for others to shape. The choice is not distant. It is here, now, written in the ink of 1818. The countdown pressure. Once the old script begins to crumble, time itself takes on a different texture. The days no longer feel casual or endless. Instead, there is a pulse in the air, a sense of urgency pressing against your chest, whispering that some chapters cannot be stretched forever. This is what the mystics called the spiritual deadline, the invisible countdown that marks the point of no return. And the 1818 portal does not merely open it, it amplifies it. This pressure is not the same as fear or panic. Panic scatters the mind, but the countdown sharpens it. It strips away excuses and thins the veil of delay. Suddenly, what you've been postponing cannot be postponed any longer. A conversation you've avoided burns on your tongue. A choice you've dodged for years becomes unbearable to ignore. You feel it at odd hours, in restless nights, in strange surges of clarity. in the weight of knowing that to hesitate now is to lose something precious forever. The effect of this pressure differ depending on where you stand in your life's journey. If you are in the early stages, still laying foundations, the countdown will feel like a door swinging shut behind you, urging you to act before the chance dissolves. If you are in the middle, caught between choices, the pressure trims, cutting away what is excess, so only what is essential can remain. And if you are late in your cycle, already burdened with too much, the countdown can feel like collapse, forcing radical shedding, stripping away what you cannot carry forward. And yet, hidden within this urgency is mercy. The countdown is not here to punish, but to align. By compressing time, it makes the truth unavoidable. It forces you to see, all at once, the span of your life and the choices that define it. What once felt negotiable now feels sacred. The deadline demands integrity. No more half measures. No more delay disguised as safety. This is the paradox. What feels like a pressure point is actually a gift. It accelerates momentum. One bold action leads to another. A single truth spoken aloud becomes a chain of liberation. The countdown does not want your panic. It wants your courage. It wants you to complete what has been lingering and to release what has already expired. For the 1818 portal does not open to extend your waiting. It opens to declare, the time is now. Move, or the moment will move without you. The power of doubles. As the countdown presses closer to its inevitable climax, another phenomenon begins to stir, a pattern of echoes that no longer hides in the background. The 1818 portal is not content with a single signal. It speaks in doubles and repetitions, in mirrored events that feel too precise to dismiss. This is the universe's highlighter, circling the point until you can no longer pretend not to notice. You may see it in small ways first. Two strangers speak the same phrase within hours. The same number flashes on a receipt, and then on a passing license plate. A conversation repeats itself in a different setting, carrying the same theme as though destiny itself is echoing. These are not coincidences. They are deliberate repetitions, coded reminders that something vital is being emphasized. The portal insists, this is not casual. This is the moment you must pay attention. For some, the doubling will be external. Choices will arrive twice, perhaps disguised differently, but carrying the same essence. A career offer may echo the same question a relationship is posing. Will you choose alignment or convenience? A face you meet twice in a single day may be more than chance. It may be the universe demanding recognition. For others, the doubling will rise within. Two desires pulling in opposite directions. Two voices of equal force demanding resolution. Normally, one would be silenced by distraction. But under the portal's gaze, both stand side by side, impossible to ignore. This rhythm of doubles is not random stuttering. It is a cosmic insistence. In a world overflowing with noise, repetition is the only way the universe ensures you stop, look, and listen. When something appears twice, you are standing at a crossroads. To dismiss it is to reject the very language by which the divine communicates. The mirror quality of 1818 makes this doubling even sharper. It reflects you back to yourself, not once, but twice, erasing the hiding places where you used to escape. The echoes show you what you have avoided, circling it until you face it, and the question becomes unavoidable. When the mirror repeats, will you recognize it as a summons, or will you walk past, pretending it was coincidence? For in the energy of 1818, the doubles are never just echoes, they are doors, and whether you step through them or not determines the script you live next. The meaning of 18. The echoes of doubles prepare you for a deeper revelation. For beneath the mirror lies the raw essence of the number itself. 18 is not a gentle number. It has never been. Across ancient traditions it was whispered with both reverence and caution. For 18 carries the power of trial, illusion, and collapse. It does not arrive to soothe. It arrives to strip, to tear away the lies we have layered around ourselves in the name of comfort. In the mystic pathways of old, 18 was linked to the shadows of the moon, the realm of confusion, uncertainty, and tests. To walk the path of 18 was to step into a fog where clarity was not given but demanded, where every step required faith beyond sight. Hebrew mysticism called it a path of trial, a gate where illusions were destined to fracture. To encounter 18 was to feel the sand shift beneath your feet, revealing how fragile the wall of false security truly were. Now imagine the doubling of that force. 18, 18. Not one collapse but mirrored collapse. Not one shattering but two, cascading in both directions of your life at once. What was hidden is dragged into the light. The job that numbed you, the relationship propped up by denial, the story you've repeated to keep fear at bay. All of them are tested, not gently but relentlessly. And when 18 speaks, there is no pretending left. The collapse does not arrive to destroy you, but to destroy what was never real to begin with. This is why so many fear the number 18. It threatens the fragile masks. It shakes the ground of illusions until they break. Yet, the paradox is that within this fear lies the doorway to liberation. What is shattered was never yours to hold. What crumbles was only ever scaffolding. The collapse makes room for truth, and truth alone can carry you into the storms ahead. So, when 1818 stands before you, do not meet it with trembling alone. Meet it with recognition. For the fear you feel is only the resistance of falsehood being stripped away. And once it is gone, what remains is unshakable. The chosen ones understand this secret. The terror of 18 is nothing compared to the freedom it brings. And in that freedom, the next chapter waits. The shadow of 9. If the number 18 cracks illusions, then the presence of 9 ensures those illusions never return. For September, the 9th month, carries within it the weight of endings. Unlike the gentle promise of beginnings or the harmony of balance, 9 is the number that insists upon closure. It is the hand that shuts the door, the whisper that says, enough. This chapter is complete, and when 9 collides with the mirrored force of 1818, the result is finality sharpened into destiny. 9 has always been a shadow number. Mystics saw it as the great dissolver, the quiet force that brings cycles to their knees. Projects lose momentum, relationships falter, habits that once felt unshakable suddenly feel unbearable. This is not cruelty, but the natural rhythm of time. What has reached its limit must fall away. And yet, when this energy meets the mirror of 1818, those endings do not arrive gradually. They snap shut. They collapse like a trapdoor beneath your feet, giving you no chance to cling to what is already expired. For some, this will feel like liberation. The universe finally severs what they could never bring themselves to release. For others, it may feel violent, like the rug ripped out from under their stability. But whether tender or ruthless, the effect is the same. 9 makes certain that what must end, ends. It does not negotiate. It does not delay. It enforces. Think of the things in your life that drag like weights you refuse to set down. The job you complain about but never leave. The friendship that has become a hollow shell. The cycle that drains you yet feels safe in its repetition. These are the exact structures the shadow of 9 seeks out, collapsing them so that the stale can die and the living can breathe again. Even when endings arrive with slammed doors or harsh words, there is mercy hidden inside them. For every ending 9 delivers is also an opening, a quiet space cleared for rebirth. This is why mystics revered 9 as both death and rebirth in one. Its hand may be sharp, but its intention is renewal, and under the intensity of 1818, that renewal is multiplied. Do not mistake the collapse as punishment. It is preparation. The shadow of 9 ensures that when the mirror portal closes, you are not carrying expired weight into the storm. It clears the stage, however abruptly, so that your true story has space to unfold. And that space is the gift hidden in the shadow. The Floodgate Effect, the shadow of 9, clears the stage. But what follows is not stillness, it is release. The energy of 18 has long been compared to a reservoir, a container of pressure building behind unseen walls. For years, perhaps lifetimes, choices have been delayed, truths suppressed, instincts ignored. All of it gathers like water pressing against a dam. And when the mirror of 1818 arrives, that structure cannot hold any longer. It snaps, it bursts, and what comes through is the flood. This is not a trickle of change, nor a polite adjustment. It is the cracking open of what has been restrained for far too long. Words left unspoken may suddenly pour out with unstoppable force. Desires hidden in silence may erupt into action. Dreams you've pushed aside may demand attention with a vitality that cannot be reasoned away. The Floodgate Effect of 1818 is the raw outpouring of energy that has waited for this precise moment to be released. Yet, the experience will not be the same for all. Some will feel it as exhaustion, as if lifetimes of weight have finally collapsed upon their shoulders. A bone-deep tiredness, the need to stop, to rest, to let the current wash over them. Others will feel the opposite, an electric surge racing through their bodies, ideas firing like lightning, adrenaline urging them into action they can no longer delay. Whether heavy or electric, still or restless, both are signs of the same truth. The flood has begun. The danger here is in dismissal. Many will try to rationalize what they feel, blaming poor sleep, stress, or chance, but the body does not lie. Dizziness, restlessness, an ache that feels more than physical. These are the signatures of the surge. For when energy long restrained bursts free, the body becomes the first witness. The vessel must feel what the soul has unleashed. This flood is not chaos for its own sake. It is reshaping. Just as rivers carve valleys and reshape landscapes, so too does this torrent carve new directions into your life. Where you have resisted, it will sweep resistance away. Where you have delayed, it will carry you forward. The Floodgate Effect is not meant to drown you, but to cleanse you. It is the release required before you can step into what is next. And so, as 9 ensures endings and 18 ensures collapse, the flood ensures that nothing stagnant remains. By the time the waters recede, the ground beneath you will not be the same. And it is upon this new ground that the final question of the portal will be asked. When the flood recedes, what remains is not the same terrain you once walked. The 1818 portal has done its work. It has mirrored, tested, collapsed, and released. Now you stand on new ground, staring at a horizon that feels unfamiliar yet alive. This is the final gift of the portal, the chance to claim this threshold as the moment where everything changed. But the choice, as always, belongs to you. The purpose of 1818 was never to hand you perfection wrapped in silver ribbons. It was to wake you, to show you the illusions that held you captive, to push you toward endings that could no longer be delayed, to unleash the energy that has been waiting behind your walls. It was a reminder that time itself is not passive. It speaks, it bends, it calls. And when numbers align in mirrors, destiny leans close, asking if you are ready to listen. Some will dismiss the signs. They will ignore the doubles, downplay the endings, explain away the surge of energy in their bodies. For them, life will continue, but under the weight of repetition, louder and harsher, until the lesson is finally heard. Others, the chosen ones, will seize this moment. They will understand that the true miracle of 1818 is not found in external shifts, but in the quiet clarity of their own energy. No more inner screaming, no more frantic performing, just presence, steadiness, and truth. This closing chapter is an invitation. The portal does not remain open forever. Its echoes linger, but its mirror closes, sealing the choices you make into the story you will now live. Will you step forward with intention, wielding the pen that has been handed back to you? Or will you leave the page blank, waiting for someone else to write the next line? Remember, 1818 was never about punishment. It was always about alignment. The endings, the pressure, the echoes, the collapse, they all existed to bring you to this moment of choice. And though the storm of eclipses may yet rage, those who carry the stillness earned at this gate will walk through the storm with unshakable grace. So pause now and breathe. Feel the silence that was hidden beneath the noise. The portal has given you more than clarity. It has given you back yourself. And that, more than anything else, is the reason you were alive to see 1818. The chapter closes here, but the story is yours to write.